Hi everyone, hope you're well. Kevin here from the Online Visibility Agency and 99quidwebsites.co.uk. And it's been a while since I've been live or here on video, so I thought I'd get back in the saddle and get going again with more about the digital world that you may or may not know, but you may hopefully find a little bit useful. So today I wanted to talk about hosting, and this is a question that gets asked quite a lot and people take it for granted as to what they're hosting and what they pay for their hosting actually means for them when it pertains to a website. And I think over the years, the whole idea of hosting has been complicated. I don't think people have made it particularly simple. They go, oh, it's something that I need and therefore I'll just get as cheap as possible. I don't really care what it is. As long as it works, I'll grab it. And I had a very similar conversation with someone this week about exactly that. And I found out how much they were paying. And they were paying for their current website. They came to us and said, oh, look, I want to get your website with you. I want you to host it and all of that, which we do, of course. What's this going to cost me? So we told them and they're like, oh, that's a little bit more than what I'm paying. So I said, okay, what are you paying? And they're like, £12 a year. I said, okay. I said, and for your £12 a year, what do you get? And he's like, well, my website works. So I'm like, okay. I said, well, let's look at the first obvious thing. How much traffic do you get to your website? And he's like, well, none. So I said, okay, so your £12 a year probably has a restriction on traffic, as in it will only let a certain amount through and then it will stop and then you have to pay for more. That's quite common with hosts, right? That's not a new thing. So I said, how many people, where is your server based? And he's like, I don't know. So I said, okay, well, go on to them and ask them where your server's based. He's based in the US. But okay, really, if you're in Europe or the UK, you want your server hosted in the UK or in Europe, right? Because it's where we need to keep our data because our website is data driven and we need it where in our location. Okay, but I'm not really bothered about that. Well, okay, if that's your choice, if that's how you want to view it. But how many people do you share your hosting server with? And he's like, I don't know. So he told me who his host was, and I know his host, and I know exactly what package he's on. And it turns out that he's on a shared server, and on that shared server, he's on with around about 100 other companies. So I said, how many people do you think if you come with me, you will be on with? And he's like, probably the same. I said, no. With us, you're on a dedicated server. Now, the reason for this is because if another site gets hacked or they start sending stuff out, there's a very, very high probability if that one gets hacked, you get hacked. So everyone gets hacked. On a dedicated server, you're hacked or you're not hacked. But the likelihood is if you follow the instructions given and we keep the maintenance of it and it's a good server, it's an Amazon web server, it's not going to happen. So how much do you want to gamble with what you've currently got against what I'm offering you? Oh, well, I'm going to stay where I am. I said, okay, I'm not going to convince you because my job is not to convince you to do something that is good for you. Your job is to recognize you're in a precarious position and it could go wrong at any time. And if for any miracle you start getting some traffic along, your site will stop delivering because you need to up what you pay per year. And you'll probably be paying that plus some per month when you start getting any form of traffic along. So people end up in this real interesting situation with hosting where they think cheap is good. I think cheap means ineffective, as in how does it, if you've got a site that's delivering good traffic and it's delivering fast at pace as it should, high in the search engines, and you're getting relevant people coming along, you have to pay for that. Right, that's not free to get that, and therefore, in my mind, if you're paying for your hosting, you're paying a reasonable sum. I'm not saying you've got to pay the most expensive; that's ridiculous. But you know why you're paying more, then that's a good thing. Because if you're paying more, you're getting more traffic, which means you should be getting more conversions, i.e., more clients. That's the way that it works. With ours, we fix it anyway, so it's a fixed cost on the hosting, and it isn't the cheapest. But it gives you more than most small businesses will ever require. And if it needs more, it has the capability for more. So I think we need to open our minds up a little bit on what we're doing online regarding our websites, because being on a shared host nowadays only benefits one person, and that's the person often reselling that hosting. And it doesn't work out well for you as the person with the website. You really should be looking, if you've got any sort of quality of website going on and decent amount of traffic, to get a dedicated hosting for your website or your own websites. Now, there may be people out there that disagree with this, and that's absolutely fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but we've been doing this a long time, and I've seen all of the horror stories that go on regarding hosting, especially when it goes wrong. So just have a think about that. If you're not sure what you're on, go to your host and ask them, what am I paying for each month? How much traffic am I allowed to get to on this site? And do I share my hosting with anybody else? And if not, what would it cost me to upgrade? And if you're sitting there thinking, oh my God, it's another mortgage, you probably need to talk to me and we can have that conversation. So have a think about your hosting stay. Don't be stuck in what I've always done, always will be, and will always be okay, because that's not progress in business, right? We need to make sure that we're moving forward, and that we're moving forward in the correct way. And getting your hosting correct gives you the very foundation for a website that should excel online. And when you get that exceptional website going, you know it because you're getting inquiries coming through it. If you're not, then something's not right and you need to reconsider. One, is your hosting holding you back? Or two, if the hosting's okay, is your website holding you back? In either way, if you want to chat, let me know, hit me in the messages, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. See you later.